Welcome to Power Lunch Training. Thank you so much for joining our team of dedicated volunteers. Before we can pair you with a student, you will need to watch this brief training video in its entirety, then e-sign the Acknowledgement of Training form. Power Lunch is a one-on-one read aloud program that pairs volunteers with students that are reading below grade level. As a Power Lunch mentor, you will be paired with one student for the entire school year. Reading sessions are once a week for 30 minutes during the student's lunchtime. Reading aloud to a child can be the single most important activity for building success in reading. With the child actively participating, reading aloud increases vocabulary, builds comprehension, and increases confidence. While literacy is the focus of our program, the trusting relationship that naturally builds by your consistent visits can boost the child's social confidence. Mentors and students alike benefit from this program. The school coordinator is at the school each day the program runs to assist you. On your first day, the coordinator will show you how to sign in, orient you to the book card and reading space, and introduce you to your student. Then you will go together to the reading area and read aloud. A sample reading session might look something like this. When you arrive, sign in with your coordinator, and while your student is getting their lunch, pick up your reading journal and a book. Take a few minutes to catch up with your student and review the previous session. Then read to your student while they eat their lunch. Use the last 5 minutes to find a stopping point in the book and fill out the reading journal together. Everybody Wins supplies all of the books for our Power Lunch program. The books are color-coded by reading level. Your coordinator will provide you with your student's level. Choose one book from your student's level and one a level higher. When being read to, your student will benefit from hearing books in a higher level than what they can read themselves. Choose several books that your student likes and is excited about. This will encourage a love of reading, which ultimately results in better reading skills. The 5-finger rule is another way to determine the appropriateness of a book. Pick a book from the card and read a page aloud. Ask your student to put up a finger for every word they do not know. If they have 5 fingers up at the end of the page, the book is too difficult. If they do not have any fingers up, the book is too easy. If the student has 2 to 3 fingers up, that book is challenging and will have vocabulary words you can work on with your student. Each reading pair has a reading journal that can be used as a bookmark if you are carrying a book over from week to week. Leave your journal in the designated bin at the school so you will always know where to find it. The journals help to facilitate discussion of the book, track progress, and record vocabulary. Writing new vocabulary words down is helpful in 2 very different ways. It assists the student in learning the new word, and the program uses vocabulary data to help secure grants for funding our program. Before you leave, fill out the Pages Read tracking sheet at the coordinator desk. This is another tool used for tracking our students' progress and for grant writing. You and your student can decide on what works best for your reading sessions, but we have just a few rules that everyone must follow. All mentors and students should share a room or space with other mentors and students. If you find yourself alone with a student, let your coordinator know. No contact outside of the Power Lunch program. All contact between mentors and students must be at the school during the Power Lunch hours of operation. No game playing. While the session should be fun, the focus should remain on reading. No gifts or food. We want to keep our program as consistent for our students as possible. Your gift to the student is your undivided attention and the relationship that forms during those sessions. All of the reading is to be done on a one-on-one basis. The student that you are assigned to is the student you will read with weekly. Use of cell phones is prohibited. For confidentiality reasons, please do not take photos of your student. We do understand that at times schedules change. The success of our program depends on your weekly attendance. Please notify the coordinator of changes in your schedule by email or text before 9:30 a.m. the day of your session. Your time is important to us. Your coordinator checks attendance 1 hour before the program begins and will notify you by phone or email if your student is absent. As a reading mentor, you are a mandatory reporter. You are obligated to report any signs of abuse or neglect. If you have concerns, please speak with your school coordinator. We will ensure the proper procedures are followed. It doesn't happen very often, but if your student is misbehaving, please notify your coordinator. Our expectations of students include being on time to the best of their ability, being respectful to you and others in the program, and following directions. When issues do arise, they are addressed by program staff on an individual basis. As we said earlier, building a trusting relationship with your student is a very important piece to the success of this program. This will happen naturally over time as you get to know your student and show them that you care. Just showing up every week goes a long way to building a relationship and demonstrates to the student that they are important to you. Some of our students have chaotic, stressful, or unpredictable home lives that can affect behavior or mood. Know that on occasion, reading may take a back seat to other issues. Listen to the student if they want to talk. Sometimes a mentor and student pairing just doesn't work out. If you are having difficulty developing a positive relationship with your student, talk to your coordinator. Reading aloud can look different depending on the reader and the listener. Some students will quietly listen to you the whole time. Some students will interrupt, ask questions, and make comments. Some students will want to try reading themselves. All of these make for quality read aloud sessions. Just follow your student's lead. As a mentor, you will also have your own style. If you want to read a whole page before answering questions, you can set that parameter. If you want to use character voices, do it. You will find what is comfortable for you and your student. Part of improving literacy is building vocabulary. Our goal is to increase the number of words that students understand, which is different from words they can read. Start with your book selection. Choosing a book that is slightly above their own reading ability will allow them to hear and learn new words. Most students won't stop you when they hear a word they don't know. Ask if they understand a word, or you can jump right in and explain it. The best words to explore are the ones that are common in adult speech, but less common in a children's book. When you come across one of these words, the goal is to make that word stick. We want them to learn the word and the meaning and incorporate it into their vocabulary. When defining a new word, these 3 steps are very useful. Begin with a child-friendly definition, give the student a real-world example, and immediately provide them with the opportunity to use the word. Here's an example. The new word is clever. The child-friendly definition might be, that means to be bright or smart or creative. A real-world example might be, you were clever to use your napkin to hold your spot when we couldn't find a bookmark. And then ask them if they can use the word. This is a good time to write down the word in the reading journal. Writing it down and reviewing it again the next week is another way to make the word stick. It also helps to use the book's pictures to provide clues and examples. It says the boy tumbled down the hill. Look at the picture. How do you think the boy went down the hill? Comprehension is another important piece of literacy. We want to be sure the student is understanding what they're hearing. Ask your student how the book relates to themselves. For example, Sam's mother was angry at him after he walked to the store without permission. Why do you think she was angry? Has that ever happened to you? You can also ask your student questions about how the book relates to other books you've read in the past. Or ask your student questions about how this book relates to the world around them. Think out loud with your student. You could say, I'm not sure I understand that. Let's go back and read it again. This not only will help with comprehension, but also sets a good example that it's okay to revisit things. At the end of your session or the end of the book, ask open-ended questions such as, what did you think of the story? What was your favorite part or least favorite part? Do you know anyone like that character in the story? There's more great information about literacy and our program on our website, including contact information for Everybody Wins staff. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or concerns, and follow us on social media. Now that you understand the power of Power Lunch, you are ready to get started. Don't forget to e-sign and submit the Acknowledgement of Training form that will come at the end of this video. This alerts us that your training is complete and we can pair you with a student. Thank you so much for volunteering.